does the UFC have?
Ooh, I'm at 62.96 on Tapology right now. But I mean, I haven't been doing it for super long, so. I'm only a 4th degree white belt.
That's pretty good.
It's alright.
Display.
Is M1 Global having an event? On Sunday? Huh. Vladislavovich. Oh my god, look at these names.
Yeah, I'm not familiar. I'm not familiar with many of those guys.
Yeah, no, all extremely Russian names. Are they all? What's this one? Do you recognize that flag?
Kazakhstan?
Oh, yeah, that might be Kazakhstan. Okay. So I think that's the only non-Russian person is Kazakhstan.
That's pretty much Russian, though. Some people would say. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's.
I'm not
pretty
the
much
guy to say it, but
like I looked and it's like all Russian flags and then just that one Kazakh. I might check this one out actually. I haven't watched M1 in a long time. I'm definitely not doing predictions though.
No, that's okay.
Did you see about Tony? About him not needing surgery?
No.
They were like, oh, he broke his orbital. Like they immediately said that, and they were like, nope, he saw a doctor and he doesn't need surgery now, apparently.
Sure. Whatever you guys say, right?
Tony probably just rehabbed it himself in like 2 days.
Did you see him the next day in the hospital?
Yeah. Dancing?
Lunatic.
Oh, when they announced that he doesn't need surgery, he was like shadowboxing. So I think he wants to fight again. Probably in a couple months.
Yeah, probably. Hey?
He's probably going to try and be ready for to take over if Gaethje doesn't make it. I don't want to talk about that fight though.
The Gaethje Ferguson one?
Yeah.
Why not?
No, I mean I can. It's just it was upsetting.
Mm-hmm.
And now Khabib Tony is going to happen, and it's Disney's fault.
Yeah.
I mean, it is.
That could be true, eh?
I think it's true. Oh, because like Dana was going to do it on the island, and then they were like, or no, he wasn't going to do it there. He was going to do it on I think it was on the reserve, the reserve casino. That was like the spot that he picked. And he's like, okay, we can still do this. I found a location, and they were like, no.
Well, that's because someone was writing letters to the government or something like that.
Yeah, but I mean, it's ultimately ESPN, like.
Yeah, because of whatever pressure.
They tied Dana's hands on it, and Disney owns ESPN. Apparently, they also own Fox. I didn't know that.
They bought part of Fox. Like they bought 21st Century Fox or something.
So it's not like Fox News.
Right. So yeah. I don't know what the pieces are, but they bought like Disney owns The Simpsons now. Simpsons is on the Disney.
Yeah, I know thing. That. Yeah. Which is
the
only reason I wanted to get Disney Plus, basically.
But so when I think Simpsons, I always think of the 20th Century Fox thing, right? And like Home Alone, certain movies came out under that, certain shows, certain content did, but it's not everything.
Oh, okay.
Like it's like a Scotch and whiskey thing, you know. All Scotch is whiskey, but not all whiskey is Scotch.
True. I was just confused by it because like the ESPN switch over, like it went from Fox to that, and it was like, so nothing happened.
Yeah.
Like, it is still weird considering that they own part of Fox in that sense, but
Yeah, I don't know if they have like Fox Sports or like how that works. I have no idea.
yeah.
But I know they got part of them at least. So, let's see. Do you have to do anything else? Maybe I'll just run to the bathroom quick and then we can.
Sure. You remember where it is?
Yeah. You can.
The local one.
You can warm up your voice if you want.
I thought about putting honey in my tea for that.
I don't really have anything prepared, but I think I can. You know.
Yeah, well, we'll ramble. I got a couple of talking points. We can just go over the fights. And...
That sounds like it's fun.
I mean, that's what happened last time.
That's true.
Dana, before we talk about just the matchups on this card, I want to talk about Walt Harris's return. He spoke to us this week. He said you called him every day throughout all the things he was going through. And just a few months ago, he suffered just the most tragic loss anyone could ever imagine. But then he picked himself up. He went through a training camp. He did everything he had to do in order to prepare and return against Alistair Overeem. For you, what does it mean to be able to see him go from, the depths of despair to where he is now?
Yeah, anybody who has kids knows that that's your biggest fear and the worst thing that could ever happen to you. Win, lose, or draw on Saturday, it's already a win for him just to be here. So Saturday's a big night. That main event is not only big for both of those guys' careers, but just such a huge step forward for Walt Harris. So.
I mean, it's an absolutely beautiful thing to see that his daughter's motivating him to get to this point. But then he's going to stand across the octagon from Alistair Overeem, one of the all-time greats. In terms of the matchup itself, they're number 8 and number 9 in the heavyweight division. What are your expectations for this one that's scheduled for 25 minutes?
Yeah, I mean, it all depends on where Walt really is, Even though he's here, he trained, he did whatever.
Do you think we should push our chairs back a bit more for 6 feet?
I don't know.
Like I said,
does it look like 6 feet on the camera?
It doesn't. Oh. It doesn't look good at all. To be honest.
I was considering it was like a joke. Like I have like a yardstick, and I was gonna mount that on the wall beside us.
We probably should, but
that's not even 6 feet though, anyways. So
fair enough.
I'm pretty sure I'm more than a yard tall. So.
It just sucks to do it against.
Would that be weird if they started doing fighter heights in yards?
Heavyweight, but in our co-main event, we've got a really fun strawweight matchup.
Well,
Angela Hill has been on quite a tear lately.
She's 1.7 yards, 16 stone.
But she's taking on the number 6 ranked Claudia Gadelha. Claudia, former title challenger, very talented mixed martial artist. This could be a really fun one at 115.
Yeah, I think the win streak and the opportunity with what's going on right now got her here to where she can get ranked. If she beats Claudia, it's the biggest win of her entire career. So, this is a big fight for both of these women too in the co-main event. Claudia is looking to.
Oh yeah, that was something too I saw. I don't know if we want to talk about that on the podcast because it's probably too scandalous. But Dana was taking a little peek at Claudia.
Absolutely. Before I let you go, I want to touch on some of these interesting changes that have happened in the card. Giga now has a new opponent, a newcomer,
They
Erwin
put up
Rivera, who
the
stepped
UFC
up on
put up a clip
incredibly
to
short
try to
notice. He had obviously
from
all
that
his medicals done and testing done,
To what?
but for you
to
to know
try
that a
to
guy is ready
draw
to just, all
attention
right,
away
yeah, I
from
got
that.
24 hours to
Oh.
prepare. Let me jump in the octagon. I see
They
the smile on
Like,
your face.
oh, he's
Obviously,
got a
that says it
crush
all.
on his
Yeah, it's just,
sweetie
you know,
there.
it's the same thing. Saturday, Wednesday, and then Saturday. During this pandemic, all the people that wanted to fight. I mean, our athletes are different than everybody else in the world, man. These people are wired differently. They're special and they're different. And whenever you see a situation where, you know, guys are willing to step up and fight.
Are we allowed to
Without
force
any notice, I mean,
Dominic Cruz to retire
it's who these people
after
are, and
those
it's why
Keith Peterson
millions
remarks?
and millions of people love this sport all over the world.
They certainly do. Another guy who is
No.
very special, UFC Hall of Famer, Uriah
Quite-
Faber. He got on the scale
quite
this morning. Can you
possibly.
just kind of explain what that situation was?
I don't know. I don't know what they'll do with
Even
them.
You know,
Herbie had to go on and
we're
defend
always
him.
concerned with, and let me tell you what, every
Defend who,
time we
Dominic?
go into an
No,
event,
Keith.
there's behind the scenes stuff going on nonstop. There's always some type of issues that we have to deal
Who
with.
was talking about it that I saw?
We're the best. We're the best at dealing with
That
these issues
Darren?
that pop up.
He kind of looks like
we have
him.
a situation
Who
going
is it?
on right now.
No, that's Keith.
Oh,
It's just a close up of his face, but he looks a little pillish. It's got a
Boss, we
little bit
appreciate
there.
your time. We'll see you at the fights. Thanks.
Keith Peterson, maybe. Oh, that sounds like maybe it's an Anglo-Saxon name.
Yeah, I mean, sounds like it.
I don't know.
You gotta go out there and make challenges. You know, you gotta make your challenge.
Apparently that's good. Ngannou won Tyson.
All right. Well, I think we're live to go whenever you wanna.
Is this live? This is on?
Mm-hmm.
Where's my Doritos?
Jester.
Oh, this was that was the highlight from yesterday.
Bobby Hill.
Fucking delete this. There's clip of Schaub commenting on it and stuff too, and fuck, what was it? He was like kind of shit talking Keith a little bit, and he was like, "Is this guy even a fighter?" And stuff like that. I forget exactly what he said, but he said that, and I was just like, actually, he was. Fuck off, Schaub.
Schaub's an
He had
interesting guy.
he had a couple fights, so, and he's been calling people out.
Who's he want to fight?
Derek Brunson, I think.
Keith Peterson?
Yeah.
Derek Brunson's got blonde
I
hair.
forgot, he called someone out. He was like, "I'll fight you at 135" or something like that. Are we on?
Yeah, just give it a thumbs up. Maybe I'm rolling through. I'll be able to see that. Don Cherry. Okay.
Should I just go on the Reddit and keep clicking refresh just to if we can get live updates? Maybe we'll hit like breaking news on something.
Sure.
Let's be doing this the entire time.
Sure, why not?
UFC Twitch channel live with Megan Anderson. Does she have a fight booked? I mean, I guess everyone's kind of not sure at this point. Hello? Is that live?
Yeah, now it's gone. We're rolling.
Are we rolling?
Yeah.
Should we start this off?
Yeah, how do you want to start it?
I don't think that far. Oh yeah, she knocked someone on there last one.
Who did she fight? The French kickboxer.
Oh yeah.
That Felicia Spencer choked out.
No, it was someone else. Norma Dumont Viana. That was on the Benavides Figueredo
Card.
Uh,
Sorry, everyone at home.
yeah, sorry, we're just we're new to this.
Yeah, we're new here. It's our first.
Oh, she's a Brazilian.
It's our first chance at today, so.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's actually been basically exactly 10 pay-per-views since our last one, so we're a little bit out of practice. So I looked up to confirm. I was like, I'm pretty sure it was 240 was our last one.
Was it?
Yeah, well, I know it was Edgar Holloway. Because I had a whole spiel written up about that. But that girl was undefeated too until Anderson. I'm trying to think. I forgot. Like, I'm trying to picture the knockout punch. I'll have to rewatch that one. I think me and Dave were not exactly paying attention for that, so. Or I don't even know if I would have been the days for this one. Was this important enough? Oh no, I watched this one at home. I might have missed that one even. That was on the same card that Felicia Spencer. Well, she knocked out that Zara Ferrin dos Santos. I think that's the person you're thinking of. And it's so weird coming back to all this stuff too, like after that extended break. Like I feel like there's so much stuff that just has slipped my mind since then, because I haven't been like constantly looking things up.
Yeah, I would agree. I didn't know, you wanted to be ready, but you didn't know.
Yeah.
You know.
Like I was rewatching some old fights and stuff, but like I don't know. It's not the same as like when you're constantly looking up people's records and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You're constantly refreshing your memory on things,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I did a little bit of looking at some old Ultimate Fighters and some stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's kind
of. I need to go on a binge of that sometime soon. Because I've only seen a couple of them.
They're good. They're all there. We should do companions for those shows and talk about, look at this guy. He looked like a nobody. Now he's John Villante.
Yeah, it would be good to do that, I think.
Some of them are like shitty seasons.
Yeah.
But
I mean, we did about an hour of talk on that last one anyways, so.
That is true.
All right. So, do we even have a name for this yet?
No, I just made it up.
Is it Jordy's Fight Picks?
I put Fightcast just as a word. I wanted to see how many letters would fit on that line of that box I made. But other than that, you can change it to whatever you like.
Yeah. Well, welcome everybody to the unnamed MMA podcast that we've done once before, 10 pay-per-views ago.
Mm-hmm.
And now that 250's possibly somewhere around the corner, I don't think there's any news on that. We've decided to do one on not even the pay-per-view, just on a small card. And of course, this is because the COVID-19 pandemic is happening. As you'll notice, we're keeping distance. I'm staying slightly off frame. But yeah, we had time, obviously, because of all this, to get together and do another one of these.
It's very true. I haven't looked too much at this card, but I think from what I have seen, looks pretty exciting.
I mean, for considering that they had, 3 cards within 1 week, like that's a lot of people to fit on 3 cards.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that they could spread them out that well and they're still all pretty good, mean, there's not a lot of big names on some of these, obviously, but it's pretty good matchmaking for sure. I've been noticing a lot of people moving around in weight too, and I think it's a lot of like obviously just like they want to get a fight, so they're just kind of taking what's available. A lot of people moving up just to like lots of short notice, obviously. So I think that's going to be a trend going on.
Yeah, I think it's kind of, maybe if they're one weight class up, they're kind of hovering around that, and they get the call, "Are you ready?" Yeah, let's do it. Where you're cutting, maybe,
Yeah.
I don't know much. I don't know anything about weight cutting, but I imagine maybe they like.
I'm assuming it's not fun.
Yeah, I would imagine it's not too fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of guys just staying ready and taking whatever fights dropped in their lap. So what do you want to do? You want to talk about?
I mean, we can probably talk about 249 and the one on Wednesday.
Sure.
You watched both of those?
I did.
I mean, I'm not going to go over the whole card, but I'm just going to glance.
Maybe pick something that's jumped out to you the most, just because it's a little
Bryce
bit
Mitchell?
of a catch up. Yeah, there you go.
With the one judge gave him 30-24, which is haven't seen one of those in a little while in a 3-round fight. Like,
who was I was just watching some. I don't want to name a name. I don't remember who. Someone, maybe even, I don't know, Shaw or something. Watching somebody and they're like, no one has ever had. It was Chael maybe. No one's ever had 3 10-8 rounds in a row ever in the history of anything. And he's like they never happened.
Like, I mean, but I've seen some pretty dominant fights. Like, I feel like there could be maybe like a Khabib fight that was like 3 rounds in a row, but like it was a 5-round fight and maybe.
Well, he was talking about the Glover Teixeira Anthony Smith fight, which we'll get to. But he was saying that.
Actually, I don't think I saw the scorecards for them.
No, but he said Smith lost 3 and 4 really bad and was losing 5 really bad. He's like, that could have been 3 10-8s in a row, and that's never happened, is what he said. But
I feel like they give them
I feel like Bryce Mitchell just did that.
Yeah. Well, no, he
right?
did.
So
I think it was a pretty clear cut 3 10-8s.
It was crazy.
I mean, there was one where it wasn't as controlling. Like, he controlled him basically for the whole round, but like he didn't threaten as many submissions. There's like, I felt like there was maybe one that he kind of coasted a little bit, and that's probably why 2 of the judges gave him a 10-9 only for that.
Yeah.
But like, there was definitely at least 2, and like they were incredible. It was like I almost wonder if Rosa like had injury going into that.
I don't know.
Like it was almost too good, right? Like I know Bryce is a really good grappler.
What's his normal weight? Was that a weight mismatch? I don't know.
No, I think they're both. Yeah, because Rosa's been fighting that featherweight. He just his last fight he subbed Manny Bermudez, who has lost weight or missed weight at like 3 different weight classes, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So like his jiu-jitsu was supposed to be good, and people were like, "Well, I think he's a black belt." I believe.
Yeah, apparently.
And
under
I forget what Mitchell is, but he's not.
He's not.
And
but he's in
sure
Arkansas.
Made him not look like a black belt.
That's Arkansas. That's a different. That's a different place. You can't. That's not a Brazilian black belt.
It was a mixture of jiu-jitsu and mud wrestling.
Well, he rear naked choked a deer.
Yeah.
According to him, right? So.
What weight class was that deer in?
He said around 100 pounds.
Yeah.
But that's deer, right? That's strong.
That's pure muscle.
Yeah. Sure. So I'll take Alexei Oleinik for sure as my favorite. I don't want to talk about the judges. I mean,
How about that standoff?
A lot of people could say that, but the output in the first, it was like the Anthony Smith fight. Just came out.
It was.
He looked so lean and so fit, and he just.
I mean that on that card, and then the Glover like on the next card. It was. I mean, that's almost making me nervous for the main event for tomorrow. It's the time of the old man apparently.
While we're on 249.
I'm not trying to switch. I just
no. I was just thinking this because of the main event. because of Alistair Overeem. So, people were comparing Francis to Jairzinho. They're comparing who's got the power, and that was kind of the talk, right, for the fight that night. Both of their maybe biggest highlights of their career came against Overeem.
That's true.
Right? And so you think Jairzinho landed one bad mother, took him 14 minutes and 58 seconds or something.
That was such a weird fight because of that.
But that's the thing, right? That's the perfect thing of the puncher's chance. That's the equivalent of that Paul Craig fight where he got the shit beat out of him for 4 minutes and 57 seconds and then got a triangle.
Yeah.
The same thing where it's like...
Or the Yair.
Yeah. You did the elbow.
Yeah.
Where it's like... But that one was way closer. I think that one...
Oh, yeah.
Right? The other one, though, they were losing the fight and in the last second changed their fate, landed the hit, and that's like that puncher's chance, right? Yeah, you know what? You're better than me.
Yeah.
But if I hit you clean once, and I got 15 minutes, you can survive this for 15 minutes, then you win. But if I get you one time, you're done, right? And so Jairzinho...
Well, clearly that proved that he holds his power. So.
He held his power. He smashed his face up, but he didn't knock him out, right?
Yeah.
And it took him 15 minutes. Whereas Francis... Was that round 2? I think that was round 2, or first or second minute of round 2.
For Reem?
Yeah.
The first round, it was like a minute 20, minute 30.
Okay, so first round, and fucking put him somewhere near Uranus.
Yeah.
So I didn't think of that coming into this fight, but actually just driving here today, I thought of that.
A minute 42.
So... maybe that doesn't... But then all I thought of from there was Rosenstrike and Overeem. You got to keep me away for 15 minutes. And I'm thinking of the John Jones and Ngannou because they're talking shit to each other today.
Yeah.
Where it's like, yeah, John's going to be able to do a lot of things. But 25 minutes? John's not going to finish him, is he? Maybe. Can he choke him out? He's not gonna, you can't put him to sleep. Jairzinho was punching him in the back of the neck.
Well, he hasn't been submitted.
No, but even, did Stipe try or did he just hold him and beat him up?
He just held him and beat him up. That's a specialty.
Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe John can do something, but I can't see him, being strong. Put him in an arm bar or something. I don't know. I feel like you drive your car over his arm, you get a flat. He's going to have to stay alive, and maybe he can tire him out. Get it with his legs and body.
I don't think that's a good idea for John. I've been... I think everyone at this point wants to see him get knocked out.
That's the thing. What do we know about John? What's the most consistent trait about John?
Fucking up.
But what's he doing when he fucks up those times? He's taking huge risks he doesn't need to.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And
people say, you make how much money? You're the youngest champ ever. You can't hire a driver? You got to drive drunk and hit somebody? You got to do whatever drugs, do whatever allegations are. I don't know what's true or not.
Yeah.
But it's always you could have just not, or you could have done something very simple, but you took a very stupid risk because maybe you think whatever, maybe you're arrogant. I don't know what the criticism is.
Yeah.
But that's why I feel like he wants to take that Ngannou fight. Is everyone's like, John, you're the best, but you don't need to do that. That's a different thing. Let's worry about this here. And the more you say, don't look at that to John, he is going right to it. And that's true. And that's...
I'm surprised that didn't happen earlier. But he's been kind of... I think he's mentioned it. I feel like he did it late last year.
Yeah, but no one was taking him serious. And then now with DC and Stipe, who knows, right?
Yeah.
So either Ngannou, DC fight for the belt that's vacant and Stipe's gone for a while.
I'm surprised DC said he would be willing to do that.
He wants the belt one more time, I think. Yeah. That's it.
But
and he wants to get out. He wants
I don't think that's a bad retirement fight if that's going to be a retirement fight.
Yeah, but what Stipe did to him.
Well, people were saying specifically look at the Kane fights. Do you want the same thing to happen to you?
It's different though. Kane was known for better cardio and maybe better boxing.
Yeah,
But DC's wrestling is.
I know, but I
I don't
mean,
know.
he clearly wants to retire. Like, I think whoever he fights next is probably gonna be his last.
That's the thing.
Because
Is
he's already on borrowed time basically at this point. Because he was supposed to retire when he was
like 2 years ago.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
not 2 years ago, but when he turned 40. He
Yeah,
said,
a year and a bit though.
Yeah.
Or a year, whatever. Like, and that's the thing. He's like, fine, I'll do one more, and now it's being dragged out and stalled out, and it's like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
I feel like it's so stupid to risk taking a fight against that guy who, again, the Uranus analogy.
Yeah, but this is the thing, right? So say
that's like.
Say he beats him.
I have mixed feelings on DC, but like the last thing I want to see is a guy who's about to retire get his head knocked into the empty stands.
It has to go one of two ways. Obviously, one is better for DC. DC beats him, then retires, and then John and Ngannou fight for the title, heavyweight. And if Francis knocks out John, DC by proxy gets his win over John. But if DC gets knocked out and then retires, and then John fights him and gets knocked out, then DC also doesn't get redemption, but he's like, if DC loses to Ngannou and then John beats him, I think that's worst case scenario for DC. That's the big miss. But obviously you don't want to get knocked out. You don't want that. But if he does and John does, it's not as bad.
Yeah.
Because then it's like neither of us can beat him, right?
I'm even worried about if DC has another fight with Stipe. How well he ended up looking at the end of it, like.
But again, that was so weird. He was beating him, and then he started just putting his hands down and walking him down.
You know what that actually like that change reminded me of is the Cejudo Moraes. Very well.
Yeah, but obviously
similar in that way where it's just like Moraes just forgot how to defend. It seemed like because like.
It was a different fight.
He was completely wiping the floor with Cejudo. It looked like it was going to finish. And then Cejudo started doing those knees up the middle. And he was like, wait, what? You have other limbs? And like he was just like clueless. And he just kept landing the same thing on him. And then he got fucked up. So it's...
Yeah, he came out a little... almost... I don't know if it was he came out. I'd have to rewatch it. He came out or after a minute or two into that round, then he kind of just deflated.
Yeah.
Right? Whereas DC... It's like he did a John Jones. He was fine. He was doing good. And then he's like just got super confident and like started like trying to do things.
I don't even think he looked super confident at that point. I think he started to gas a little too. I think that was a big part of it.
You think DC was gassed a little bit?
I think he looked a little tired.
He
wasn't like heavy breathing, but like you can kind of tell like the look in his face. He looked...
I feel like the way I remember it, again, I have to rewatch it. I feel like he hit kind of a switch where he was just like, I'm fucking this guy up. I got this kind of thing. Like he was just real confident about it, where what he was doing was fine. They started getting confident where I can do anything, and they started doing things that he didn't need to do.
Yeah.
That's how I remember it. I don't know if that's true.
I feel like I really wish he had just retired after that loss. Like, I think that would have been a really good point.
I wish he would have got that win and retired. That's what I wanted in that fight. Is I wanted to see them fight a great decision, super close.
Yeah.
Get the belt, retire.
Well, I felt like it was good because it was such a good fight, and he was winning, and then there was a big turnaround, and Stipe won, and it was like it should have been like, okay, you beat me, you're the real champion.
Yeah, there was an opportunity
because he genuinely won that fight. Like,
I feel like you're gonna be like, this doesn't make sense or matter. I feel like DC lost that fight. He gave it to him. He had it, and he gave it back to him.
Well, I don't think he gave up or anything.
No. But by changing that strategy, he went from being in control of the fight to putting it back. Maybe we'll call it 50-50.
Yeah.
And then Stipe got his shot.
But and like what you were saying too about the switch happening, like the way I saw it, it was almost like I was saying that he looked tired, but it wasn't exactly tired. It was just like he didn't look like a guy who was winning a fight.
Mhm.
at that point. Like he didn't look inspired at that point. He didn't look, pumped up like he was winning the fight. And he was going to knock him out or something like that. He just, I
Yeah,
don't know.
he had just lost his dad, I think, right?
Yeah.
So he was maybe, you don't know where he is.
Well, it could have been like that. And
What am I gonna say about that, right? But
it definitely, it seemed like he was. I mean, maybe not even thinking about that, but like just he was thinking about retirement. Like he started to get these thoughts in his head during the fight.
Yeah.
And he was just like distracted even.
Again,
Yeah.
right? Who knows what it was?
Yeah.
But that's gotta play into it. You have to imagine.
Yeah.
That's gonna be.
And I think
on
if
your
they did
mind.
have a rematch, like I think he would definitely try and wrestle more
Mhm.
because he had some success with that. But I don't know. I don't know how that would go.
They've also had a long time to watch that and prepare and think about nobody but him, really.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, the thing is, too, like Stipe knows that he has the power to knock him out like that, too. So he could change his strategy and just come out like Ngannou against Rosenstrike and just.
That's what I mean, right?
Slap him silly against the fence.
DC is different, but I feel like a lot of people think he's kind of, bread and, I heard someone say bread and butter wins championships or whatever, but like or meat and potatoes.
Yeah.
He kind of like, same thing with what Gaethje did to Ferguson, kind of just, he was Weasel was saying it.
Simplified.
Yeah, kind of straight. It was like DC's like, I grab I don't remember if it's a single leg, a double leg, whatever his go-to is, he'll hit that on single leg, high single, hits it on almost everybody.
Yeah.
That's like, even maybe that's like Francis. Jairzinho, what do you think he was going to do? He's going to come over here. He's going to punch me in the face. I'm going to dodge a couple times. I'm going to throw a counter, hit him in the back of the neck, hit him in the face. But he's, not only did that not work, he's still throwing in the same combo.
Yeah.
And he hit me with number 6 or 7, this halfway through a dozen muffins, he hits him with one, and he
threw the whole box at him.
He's out, right? So, like, even if they know, you got to see it to happen, but maybe it doesn't matter, and DC can do it anyway. Maybe they're ready for him, and it's. I don't know. They did the trilogy, though.
Yeah, no, it's always nice to see the trilogy like that, especially when it's 1-on-1.
1-on-1.
I just hate when they try to do a trilogy when somebody's 1-2. It's like, all right.
Yeah.
I think we know what's going to happen, but.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay, well, enough about that. Do you want to get on to the...
Yeah. Was there any others you want to talk about?
Let's just quickly have a quick look at the next card. The Smith Tickshare
one.
Yeah. Which... I just noticed, too, on the last one, it said Greg Hardy got 180 grand. Jorgen De Castro got 12 grand.
Oh.
That's why he didn't want to get knocked out. He's like, fuck that shit. 12 grand.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
I guess it's really you get what you pay for with that.
I didn't see all of these.
The Smith Tickshare?
Yeah, I didn't see all of them because I was trying to watch them and I wasn't able to watch them all the way through, so then I kind of just stopped. So like Chase Sherman, I didn't see. Brian Kelleher, I did. Omar Morales, Sajara Eubanks, Moises, I didn't see the full fight. I didn't miss completely Morales. Saw the end of Eubanks, end of Moises.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I missed part of the Eubanks one. Apparently, she knocked Morris down in the first. I think there's a knockdown.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's see. Unanimous decision, 30-26. One judge gave it, so pretty handedly.
Yeah, that's probably because of a knockdown. Yeah. I remember, like, I definitely watched the second. You like Eubanks?
No, Sarah Morris. She's Canadian.
Yeah, I mean, she looked surprisingly good, but I thought more so it just made Eubanks look really bad. Because, like, she was, like, at one point it looked like she was styling on her, I think, in the second.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought Eubanks looked really slow. I didn't even recognize her, actually, at the weigh-ins.
She looked much... It was at a different... No, it was a normal weight class. She looked in really good shape, I thought.
No, it's 35.
Yeah.
But she used to fight at 25, but then
her weight on Wikipedia is 139. What?
No, that's... planning for her to miss weight apparently.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I thought like she reminds me a lot of Kevin Lee in that sense, where she's kind of like almost between weights.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, ideally she should fight at 125, but it's a hard cut for her.
Especially super quick like that, right?
Yeah, and
Well,
I mean she's fought a couple at 135, but she's lost them all.
UFC.
Well, except for the Morris one, but that was like I thought it was looking close at one point there from what I saw, but I thought she looked pretty bad in that fight. I thought she looked really slow.
How about this little thing? She has 3 catchweight fights, one at 140, one at 143, and then most recently at 138, and missed weight on it. And
Eubanks?
No, Morris.
Oh,
And she's 3-0 in those fights.
interesting.
So like around 140, if you average that out, that's 140. That seems to be,
One of them was in Winnipeg.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. What's up?
When that was allowed here.
Catch rate, first round. That was AFC.
Yeah,
That's cool.
and she won.
Yeah, so I'd have to rewatch that. Apparently Eubanks kind of beat her up a bit, which I think, there's just a super aggressive style. Maybe it didn't go so well, or maybe, you need a different type of fight camp to prepare. Who knows what, but...
That's the thing I don't like about people going up. Like, sometimes you can kind of tell they're not really committing to the weight class.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I noticed that with Vince St. Pro.
He was a big boy, though.
Well, he was big, but he looked a lot more like he just didn't cut a lot of weight. Like, did that look like he committed to moving to heavyweight, or did that look like he was taking a fight?
It looked like he took it at short notice, and they're like, "What do you weigh right now?"
Yeah.
And he's like, they got a call, like, "What do you weigh right now?" And he answered and hung up the phone, and then 5 minutes later they phone back, and they're like, "Ben Rothwell." And he's like, but
yeah, it was also funny that it's a guy moving up from 205, and they're like the biggest guy, basically.
Ben, though, he's fought a bunch of guys coming up.
Yeah.
They were talking about that, like where Krzysztof Shoshinsky was one.
That was you caught all that fight?
Brandon
and Rothwell?
Yes.
Yeah.
Brandon Vera, he went over Brendan Schaub, thank God. Rico Rodriguez, Krzysztof Shoshinsky in the IFL, twice. Sucks. But he was a big deal at the time. Like, he's got so many fights, man. I remember Big Ben forever. He used to be there when, 104. His UFC debut was against Cain Velasquez.
That's a hell of a debut.
Then Gilbert from Hell, Yvel. Then Mark Hunt. Then Brandon Schaub. Then Gabriel Gonzaga. Then 4 gangsters: Vera, Overeem, Mitrio, and Barnett. Like, just a steady guy, hey?
Yeah. There's 3 years off that he took. Between Dos Santos and Blagoy. I just noticed Blagoy's main event against Augusto Sakai, I think it is. Yeah. I think that's the one after this, which is like that's such a weird main event.
I think they're just trying to fill it up, right?
Yeah.
He's a PFL heavyweight champ. What are you talking about?
Who's Sakai?
Blagoy.
Oh, Blagoy, yeah.
But okay, sorry. So this card, the Smith Teixeira.
Yeah.
Brian Kelleher, call him out. Wonderful.
That was wonderful.
Drew Dober and that looked great too. The top 3 fights were very interesting, but Brian Kelleher needs some respect on his name, I think.
Yeah, that was. I mean, I know he had some pretty good power. I
Boom.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't think it was gonna. I thought it was gonna be more grappling. Right. Yeah. And I mean, I picked Azure for a decision because that was a pretty safe pick, I thought. But I mean, this was a night for dogs for sure. There was quite a few upsets, but I was happy with that KO. It was an insane KO. So, Drew Dober, that was an insane fight. I picked that one perfectly, second round. I didn't think Hernandez would be able to hold up against him. He's such a good striker. And he called out Felder.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was thinking about that like right before. I was just like, somewhere around the middle, lightweight, finishes a fight. Felder's like doing commentary. They're like, yeah, I might as well call it Felder. But that's an interesting fight. There was another one that I thought of for him, but I can't think of it now. But yeah, I definitely would love to see him go up against more strikers for sure. And Smith was not what I expected either.
No, not at all.
Yeah.
Interesting though. James Krause was getting a lot of guff, which is tough because the first 2 rounds I was literally watching and thinking, man, I love James Krause. I do this thing in my head which is kind of like a pound for pound ranking, but like, for example, James Krause and Aljamain Sterling are some of my highest rated guys on this thing I have in my head. But I put in, you have to factor in if they're coaching guys up, if they're mentoring guys, if they're like cornering people, fighting, commentary. Like you have to count those things. Like Anthony Smith, you got to give him extra points for commentary. Dom, you give him a huge, even though, okay, so you're right, fighting hasn't been what he was at his peak lately. His commentary is great. So you give him some bonus points there, right? So like
I feel a little bit of bias from him at times.
Yeah, that's fine. But I'm just saying, like, if you do these extra things while doing, like, DC's probably got to be my number one because of that.
Yeah.
Right? So like he coaches kids. So you give him that 'cause he doesn't need to do that.
Yeah.
So he coaches in his gym. He's one of the captains in the gym. He doesn't corner that many people. I don't know if he does. Like, I don't know how that. Not that I notice. But he does the commentary and he does the big ones. So you give him full points on the commentary, full points for being arguably a heavyweight champ, right? So like, I do this weird thing.
2 division too. So I give him credit for that for sure. And Aljo has been doing pretty good for that.
I love him in the corner. He's like my favorite.
Oh that corner, he's always there for Marab.
Yeah. Because it'll be who? It'll be Sarah Longo and Aljamain Sterling. And it's like, I just want to watch this show. This is like,
they need a reality show.
Put these 3 guys in an apartment in New Jersey. Always sunny in New Jersey.
Yeah.
And there you go.
Yeah. No, it's I mean, some of those guys from that team have had kind of rocky records, unfortunately. Like I wish that they would do better. Yeah. Aljo's probably the most standout at this point.
He's so good, but he's had like that Moraes thing. Like,
well, that was
I don't like. Okay, that's you got hit by a car on the way to your fucking whatever. Like that's like, it doesn't matter if you're prepared or not. That was kind of a freak thing. Like I think even Moraes, he played it off like he meant to do. He seemed a little bit surprised.
Yeah. Like no, that was for sure a happy accident.
Like Cejudo with the knee to Dom. A lot of people showed where it was very obvious. Some people say it was a kick. I don't know enough to say.
I think it was a knee.
Like,
and he throws those, like I said, because of the Moraes fight, right?
For sure. But like, I don't know. Maybe one way or the other, right?
Yeah.
So who knows on that? But I don't know. Aljamain, it's tough to give him. He lost. He got knocked out. Yeah, but
his last fight really got me behind him for a title fight, though.
Yeah,
he looked so good in that fight.
He does. He really does.
I think there's talk of they were talking about him versus Jan, but I think he's booked against someone.
Dana just said that it's Jan versus somebody.
Yeah,
for that title. It's going to be Jan versus somebody, but who?
And I'm not sure about. Like, I feel like I really liked his win over Faber, obviously, but like I feel like maybe not title shot right away.
Who's this, Jan?
Yeah.
Dana said he's in the fight.
No, I know, but it's like I felt like it was pushed through a little too much. But it sucks that Aljo was inactive after that. Like he kind of got wasn't there fights that were booked for him? Or they were trying to book fights. I think just nobody was taking a fight with him after that one. But he did have an injury too. I think that's actually what he's currently dealing with. But yeah, I was hoping it would mention Yawn on here, so I guess quickly switch to that one, but apparently not. Hitter. Yeah, I mean, like, the only big names that he's beat were Dodson, Rivera, and Faber. Like, do you think that's enough to justify a title shot? Because like at that point too, like I felt like there was like 4 guys basically that were due for a title shot at 135, and I was a little pissed off that Cejudo kind of snuck in for that. So
those divisions are weird, and I feel like what they do is they do whatever they think people are gonna watch.
Yeah.
Not necessarily what would make sense. That's my take on it. I don't know if that's true. That's just the impression that I get.
Yeah. I could have sworn that I saw. I'm trying to think of who Jan was booked to fight, but it's not even mentioned on his page. So it was on one of the upcoming ones. They did say that Fight Island is going to be revealed soon, apparently. I don't know if you saw that. Like,
I heard.
A week, maybe 2 weeks.
I think someone's after around, but they're like, it's going on Epstein's Island.
No, that was. I think I said it. Was that me that said it to you?
Maybe. I don't remember who said it.
I've done a little bit of research on his island because it's weird, and there's one part of the island that has like this big dirt wall enclosure thing, and it's like 20-foot dirt piles basically as like walls, and then it's just like empty, except like he at one point it was set up for a tennis court, so they just like painted the ground and like to set it up as like a tennis court, so we had a little tennis court in there, and then that was taken out, and then it was basically just used for like vehicle storage, like they just had like maintenance vehicles and stuff parked in there. But like it's this big ominous looking like dirt wall enclosure thing, and I was just like, there's definitely room for an octagon in there, and just imagine them like on that island with an octagon and just like tiki torches all along the dirt walls at night, and people are fighting in the middle of there.
Yeah.
Imagine that scene.
That, or maybe
Dana sitting on a throne, Shao Kahn outfit.
The other idea, I don't know who said this or not, but the next door neighbor island to that one is Richard Branson's island, Necker Island. And if everyone needs to be flown in and out on private planes, who's got an airline? Like the UFC's rich and a lot of guys have private planes. Yeah. Richard Branson owns an airline. That's a write-off. That's business during a lockdown time.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and Richard Branson, I feel like is like, I don't know. I don't have any news on it. But if you're going to make that deal, you're going to make it with one big maniacal guy, not with a board of 20 people who have to think about things. I think that's...
Yeah, no, that's a safe bet. I think that might be it. Oh, it was Moraes versus Jan.
Is that what they're talking about?
Yeah, and this was for... Sorry, I had to go through like 6 different events because I wasn't sure. I assumed this would be on a pay-per-view, but it's on the Fight Night 177 in Kazakhstan, which, I mean, you would have assumed that...
Very nice.
Was that... You would have assumed that Shevchenko would have tried to get on that one.
She just had MCL surgery.
Oh, did she?
Mm-hmm.
For our last fight?
Well, I think she wasn't gonna have it, and then the lockout went, so she went and got it done. She didn't
today, look like she needed one in her last fight, that's for sure.
Just today it came out and said August or September she's looking to come back against Joanne Calderwood.
Oh, okay.
So she's like, just rebook that fight.
Oh yeah, I remember. Yeah,
allegedly. I don't know
because that was booked, I think.
Yeah,
I don't know which card it was, but
they just started to.
But after Calderwood, what's next?
Roxanne.
You think so?
That's their training partners. Well, they were before this stuff. So,
Yeah.
but who else?
I mean, I guess so. She looked good in her last fight. Surprisingly, that was I forget what the odds were for that, but it was incredible.
They were forever in her favor.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Okay, is there anything else you want to get to before we jump to who did you want to highlight? Anyone else from Smith Teixeira?
I mean, Glover in general after that performance. I knew he had it in him. Like he's been looking great as of late.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I assumed that the younger man, of course, would do better in that. It's the time for old men, apparently. I might eat my words for what I'm going to say for the main event for tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. Well, why don't you use that as a transition and climb on over to tomorrow's event?
Yeah, let's transition to that here. So, yet another one in Florida. They're doing 3 in a row within the span of a week. Should we start from the bottom of the card for it?
I guess so. Yeah, that would probably make.
I suppose that would make sense.
And you want to kind of just quickly do all of them, and I'll just jump in where I have an opinion, maybe.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so for the first one, at heavyweight, it's unfortunately I did not have time to rehearse the names for these. So Rodrigo Nascimento versus Dontel Mays.
Mm-hmm.
Are you familiar with either of these?
I've seen Dontel Mays, but I don't. I'm like looking at the name. I recall seeing him fight, but I don't have an impression either way. But I don't know.
I don't know Rodrigo, but yeah, Mays I knew from the Cyril Gane fight.
Yeah,
and he got heel hooked in the 3rd round by him, which was very unexpected.
Yeah, Gane is an interesting feller, though.
Yeah.
I think
But do you think he actually has really good submission skills, or do you think
allegedly
he got taught how to do a heel hook and drilled it like quite a few times before then? Like, well, you're athletic enough, you could probably pull this off against someone who doesn't know how to do jiu-jitsu.
I don't remember. Pardon me, guys. I don't remember exactly who, what, when, or where, but I feel like at the time when they were talking about it, it was a G Willikers. He's actually doing some grappling and it's paying off. What I recall.
Well, this is my little write-up for Mays. I looked over his record and it's a little all over the place for this because first thing I noticed, he has a win over Mo Usman. I believe I've told you about him. You familiar with him? Big brother Usman?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. He's a
heavyweight. Heavyweight. He's literally a heavyweight Usman.
A well-conditioned feller, I feel like I've seen in the picture.
Yeah.
He's in pretty good shape.
He looks in pretty good shape. So I was surprised by that win. But then he has a loss to Alan Crowder. A TKO loss.
Yeah.
And then he got heel hooked by Cyril Gane in the 3rd round. So it's kind of hard to judge in that sense. But I mean, obviously, we can't completely rely on MMA math for things like this. So
no.
But the heel hook is what stood out for me in this because Rodrigo is submission artist at heavyweight.
Mm-hmm.
His record is.
He sounds like one.
Yeah, with a name like that, he's probably rolled around on the ground a few times. Mm-hmm. His record was primarily submissions. I want to say like 6 of his, I think 8 fights, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So he's got a lot of submissions, and against a guy who got heel hooked by Cyril Gane, I feel like that's the way to go for this one. Because I said, yeah, I'm assuming his sub skills are probably better than Gane, but he doesn't look huge for a heavyweight. He kind of looks more like a bloated light heavyweight. But I mean, a lot of those kind of jiu-jitsu guys usually aren't super ripped anyways, so it's kind of hard to judge.
Yeah, I mean,
except for the
Gordon Ryans of the world.
What's his name? Vieira, the middleweight guy.
That kind of hairy dad-looking feller, and then he's like
That's super,
cut out of
super cut.
Yeah,
He's cut like Barboza at 185.
Yeah, bricklayer's dad. That's what it looks like.
Yeah, so aside from that, I mean, a lot of them are usually not like super cut or anything.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of hard to judge in that sense. I'm worried that, and like I haven't seen any of this guy's fights. He was on Contender Series. He submitted a guy on there, but like I don't know his ability to take a punch or anything. I don't think Mays is a tremendous striker, but I mean the fact that he was able to get into the third round with Gane too speaks to that a bit.
Mm-hmm.
I said it was impressive for Mays that he went to the third round, but also I thought Gane seemed a little cautious in that fight. I think it was his third or second UFC fight, so it was still kind of like he
Only
was...
a couple, yeah. And his first one where there was grappling involved, where he didn't just murder a guy with his hands and then go on about his night.
So I mean, it was smart for him to be cautious, but I mean, who saw that heel hook coming? So yeah, I picked Rodrigo for that one. I think second round submission. I got the wrong card on here. Yeah, it's second round submission for that one. I'm assuming you don't have a pick for it because you barely knew that.
No, I'll take males though. I'll take males on a TKO.
Yeah.
Who knows? Yeah, maybe a crack.
I mean, I could see it. Like
Sure.
I said, I have no idea if this guy can take a punch or not.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely not one I would gamble on.
No.
So next up is Darren Elkins versus Nate Landwehr at featherweight. Thoughts? Initial thoughts? Are you familiar with Nate?
I've seen him fight. I don't recall.
Well, he came from M1, and his first fight was against Herbert Burns.
I was gonna say he sounds German. I feel like he's a German or Austrian guy or something like that.
Yeah, I'm not sure his background. But
Like I feel like a European guy, so M1 would maybe make sense.
Yeah.
I don't know. I want to see Darren Elkins win, so I give him a tough decision win. Darren Elkins, I think. I mean,
that's usually what I pick for Elkins is a tough decision win.
Yeah, that's
and usually you can do it unless it's against a guy who only throws spinning kicks and heel hooks. So that was an awkward fight for him. He didn't know what to do.
I feel like Darren Elkins more like a quit doing that shit and just fight me.
Yeah. Did you see his new look?
No.
He has a little bit of a little goatee thing going on.
Oh yeah. Wow, very different.
I think it looks good on him. I like the look. It makes him look less insane with the shaved face and the damage.
Yeah, that's an interesting chest.
Yeah, it kind of evens it out a little bit. Yeah, actually, I put new look as a note for Elkins here.
Mm-hmm.
I said it's a good opportunity for him to break his losing streak. I think he's lost 3. But I mean, he looked okay in the Ryan Hall fight.
It's just Ryan Hall.
Yeah.
He
was fighting a Rubik's Cube.
He took a fight against Ryan Hall. There, you got to give him his points right there. So.
But yeah, I said his grinding style should be able to get him win against this guy because Nate Landwehr he's pretty good from what I've seen. I think he took down Herbert Burns, but I mean, those brothers aren't afraid to go on their back anyways, so I don't think he was too scared of being taken down. And then he got up and knocked him out with a Cejudo knee straight out the middle.
Mm-hmm.
So the fact that he got knocked out, it's kind of hard to judge exactly, but I still feel like he's not top level at this point, obviously.
Yeah, maybe he took the Elkins fight because it's someone who he kind of knows what he's getting into.
Because, I mean, he could.
He knows what he's getting into, and it's like, best case scenario, I crack him and knock him out. Worst case scenario, we're in a fist fight for 15 minutes. I'm kind of like...
Yeah. I mean, if it stays standing, I would definitely lean more towards Nate. Like, I don't think Elkins has tremendous stand-up. It's usually more strikes to get into a clinch and then take him to the ground.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
So
I would go Elkins.
Yeah, I have Elkins for a decision for that one. I think that's a fairly safe pick.
The next
and
one.
he looked good coming into this too, not just facial hair.
Yeah.
After that, we got.
I'll take the Italian.
You're just jumping right into it. Courtney Casey versus Mara Romero Barella.
There's
at
not
women's
many.
flyweight.
Not many Italians, but I like to pick them for no apparent reason.
I mean, that's what people are saying, but I'm not picking based off that. I got some things to say about this. So this Courtney Casey's moving up to flyweight for this one.
Yeah.
It's another move up. And notes I put for that is that she always seemed to be a bigger 115. So I think this is probably a good move for her because she does show pretty good grappling. Her record obviously isn't too good. I think she's 8-7, and I think Barella is actually pretty close to being even wins and losses as well. I forget exactly what her record is, but they're both kind of like near that point. So it was like, yeah, like Courtney Casey's unfortunately just had some bad matchups, but she's also fought a lot better competition at 115.
Yeah.
But her grappling looked good. And I think her moving up, putting on maybe a little bit more muscle, or at least having a little more meat on her to, have more cardio for the grappling.
Even if
really
it's
important.
Even if it's not being as depleted from
a
bigger cut, right, or whatever.
So I think it's a pretty good move for her because
she's a good fighter.
She's fought mostly everyone at 115, and it hasn't been going well for her. So there's a lot lower competition, I think, in flyweight. So I can't see her being champ, but I think she'll get some more wins for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's some good fights for her.
Well, I'll let you start off because you jumped right into the Italian right away. So what are your initial thoughts on Barella in this fight?
I don't know. I just kind of feel like she's kind of due to win something against someone with a name a little bit. I feel like I don't remember specific details, but I remember being a little bit impressed with her. I feel like she's a grappler.
Yeah.
Of some kind. And I thought that she looked pretty good. It's about as much as I remember, I'll be honest. I haven't watched any of her stuff recently, but I remember her standing out as, that Italian girl at 125 as some kind of grappler.
And you know what? I had basically the same thought I don't think it was her last fight, maybe the one before. I kind of had that thought in my head of like, I remember her being pretty good grappler, and I think I picked her for one, and she lost.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, she hasn't done very well against UFC competition. I think she's 2 wins, 3 losses, I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
And she's only won against people who weren't good competition at 125. She has faced some good people. I think she faced Chukagian, lost a decision. So like that's nice, but Chukagian's also beat a lot of people by decision. So
yeah.
She has shown some good groundwork, but I feel like she's been outclassed in a lot of hers by people who aren't even like outstanding grapplers, but they're just pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes me question that. And I think if somebody like Casey, who I feel like seems like a better grappler to me, if she moves up, she might be able to win in that. Mm-hmm. So so even though she's been at 125 longer, I don't think there's going to be a big size advantage for Casey moving up. And at the weigh-ins, they looked pretty close. So
yeah,
I picked Casey by decision for that one. I think she's just going to grind out a decision.
Yeah, I can see that, but like I said, for whatever reason,
like you might be right. I hope she does because I've liked most of what I've seen, but it's just. It seems like she's been outclassed in some, and she's let me down before, so I'm going with Casey. After this, we got Giga Chikadze versus the very short notice replacement Erwin Rivera. Were you familiar with this change? Did you even know? You probably didn't even know who he was supposed to fight before.
I just read it on Wikipedia like 1 second ago.
Okay.
It said he's making his debut.
Yeah.
And who was he in for?
As Mike Davis, I believe it was. who I wasn't super familiar with, or I didn't end up looking it up because by the time I was doing my predictions, I think they already announced that fight was, well, not that it was off, but that Davis was taken off. Complications with his weight cut, apparently.
Yeah, right here. Was removed on May 14th and replaced by promotional newcomer Erwin Rivera. So I know nothing about him.
Yeah. I knew nothing until about 3 hours ago. So.
I'll think of that Canadian kid who stepped in on no notice and took a fight away class with 2 up. Tristan McDonald or something like that. I don't know, from the East Coast, I think he's from. Or maybe he's from BC, I don't know. Some kind of coast in Canada.
Tristan Connolly.
Connolly. So he's from the East Coast.
Yeah.
Connolly, that's East Coast. You know what? Let's give Erwin a fucking chance here. Who knows?
I think he lives in BC, I want to say, though. Because he'd mentioned that he works with, he does like the motion capture stuff for the game.
Yeah, I think. EA. But they have an office in Montreal and one in Vancouver. Vancouver's always been EA Sports, but I believe
it's Vancouver that he's from, though.
Maybe that's
because of that, but he probably is from the East Coast with a name like that.
Yeah, I don't know. Or maybe the card was on the East Coast.
Something was on the East Coast.
Was it the Nova Scotia card or the Newfoundland card? Yeah, but it must have been. That's what it was, because it was a Canadian card. That's why it was a Canadian guy.
Yeah, that might be it. I don't
know.
I'm not going to look it up.
Regardless, it doesn't happen a lot, but sometimes those guys who step in are ready for whatever.
Yeah.
It was 2 days. He doesn't even have the chance to process it. Shit, we'll give him the chance, right?
Well, here's what I took from my brief amount of research. Titan bantamweight champion.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen too much footage of him or anything, but I noticed he has a lot of knockouts, which is good. But I don't know if he's the only thing I'm worried about with this is if he's good at that grinding wrestling style. Because obviously Chikadze isn't the best wrestler, and I think he would gas, and it would be like the Connolly fight.
Yeah, to weather the storm.
I think he would, if he could weather the storm against him, he definitely has a chance. But it's very short notice, and there's a huge size discrepancy because he's 5'6", and Chikadze is 6 feet.
Yeah, but he must, he's got a plan, I'm sure.
On 1 day's notice.
Hey, man.
The plan definitely should be
he took the fight,
but
he took the fight. He knows something.
Yeah, but it's Chikadze is definitely a huge favorite in this. I forget what the odds are, but Chikadze, I said, last 2 wins by split decision. Not sure what to think of him at this point. He's had some good fights, and he's impressed me with what he's done. But he had a lot of hype behind him. Obviously, when he was coming in, we were expecting to see a lot more crazy knockouts from him, and it's
not yet.
Well, he started at lightweight too, and he made that drop to featherweight. Yeah, maybe that's like what I was saying earlier about allegedly the featherweight division has a lot less grapple heavy people. It's a lot more strikers, so I guess it would make sense. That's why Barboza apparently moved down. I had mentioned I would love to see if Barboza, which we're going to get into later, if he loses his fight and Giga wins this fight, that would be a good matchup.
Yeah,
it'd be the battle of the Twig Boys because they're both, super cut featherweights, good at striking. That would be an interesting fight, I think. So yeah, my only real concern with Chikadze is him getting taken down. His takedown defense has seemed pretty okay so far, so I think a lot of it kind of counts on, or it's going to land on his distance control for it too. He's dealing with a much smaller guy. If he can do a good job at keeping him at range, doing lots of teeps, he should be able to come out with a victory. I think I picked second round knockout. I could see this going to a decision pretty easy too.
Okay.
What are your thoughts on Chikadze?
I don't know. I would.
You've seen his
yeah, you have to imagine that he's gonna get better all the time, so you don't know. But I don't I don't know him well enough, or I haven't seen enough of him to say for sure what he's gonna do.
Yeah.
I feel like
I don't think I can't see him being champ ever.
you never know.
It's clearly more striking, and I think that's even at featherweight. If it is not as grapple heavy, I can't see him. I can't see him dealing with some of those guys at the top. So I think it's more of a like I said, I would like to see him do more interesting, just kind of money fights against good strikers.
Mhm.
Some good matchmaking for that.
Open up the prelims with a fucking barn burner.
But I mean, he's been taking a lot of fights, so that's good. So yeah, second round knockout for Chikadze. I think I picked for that one. Next up, Anthony Hernandez versus Kevin Holland at middleweight.
Mm-hmm.
So for this one, I'm going with Hernandez. I'll say that straight away.
I'm thinking Holland straight away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I was on the Holland train at first too. I thought he looked really good. I was impressed with his first UFC fight was against Thiago Santos, which is a hard fight for anyone. That's probably the equivalent of Rothwell with his debut against Kane.
Yeah, but
I would compare it to that.
Before the Contender Series,
Yeah,
he has a loss to Curtis Millender and a win over Jeff Neal.
Yeah.
And a loss to Rafael Lovato Jr., which is no issue there at all.
Yeah.
But that's interesting that he fought some big guys in Texas on the way up.
But it's a weird record that he has. But I'm more concerned about with what I've seen with him in the UFC. Actually, you know what? Let me pull up his record just so I can specifically
16-5.
16-5.
Brandon Allen last fight submission rear naked choke in the second.
And I saw that one coming too, because my biggest point on this is from what I've seen of Holland, he seems like a very lazy grappler. Is the best way I can put it. And probably the best example of this would be the GM3 Gerald Meerschaert fight.
He's this Travis Luter is his Jajilian Brazitsu coach. Hey, who said that? Travis Luter was a big deal. Ultimate.
I mean, from what I've seen in those, I think his jiu-jitsu is pretty.
Got a brown belt under Travis Luter.
I don't think it's up to par for this division for sure. So yeah, he came in, fought Santos, submission win over John Phillips.
And
that's one I should probably rewatch. I'm not super fresh on that one, but I remember the Meerschaert fight. He won a split decision. It was controversial because it was mostly Meerschaert wrapping around and contorting his body, trying to sneak in submissions, and clearly he didn't get any of them. But it was mostly just him fighting out of that, and I felt like he did very little offensively, and somehow still won a split decision. So that one was a little weird, but he seems so lazy in his like ground defense. Like he'll get in bad positions all the time, and he can fight out. Like I mean, clearly against Meerschaert, if he was fighting off a lot of submissions, so his sub defense is okay, but he gets too comfortable in those positions, and he'll just like set them out a lot. And that happened in the Allen fight, and I saw it coming. I was like, eventually someone's gonna get a submission on him. Like he can't just keep sitting there and waiting these things out. And sure enough, he choked him out. So I think I mean he's clearly a guy. I think he's gonna get better, and eventually he's gonna break into maybe the top 10. But not with how he's looked so far. Not
tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Did you have a certain time and date for that one as a finish, or just Hernandez in general?
Second round submission for Hernandez.
Nice, yeah.
And here's the thing. Hernandez is a very good grappler, from what I've seen. Clearly has some very good submission skills. I think he had 4 guillotines in a row before UFC,
Nice.
or before his debut.
So he's got a signature move too.
He's got a signature move. His last one was Anaconda Choke,
Nice.
which is nice.
Mm-hmm.
He has a win over Brendan Allen. I think that was before UFC. Is that LFA?
LFA is out of Texas. Legacy, or I think they're just called LFA now, but I think they used to be called Legacy, or maybe that's
I feel like that's what they both fought in. But
LFA.
he has a win over Brendan Allen, who just won against Hall and choked him out. So I feel like he should be able to get the submission in that one.
Yeah, I would be surprised, but I don't know. I'm just more familiar with Holland, so I would go him. That's all. Again, I'm not basing it on what they're doing. That's just...
Well, you didn't have the time to prepare for this either, so...
No.
If you can't tell, we're very unprepared for this.
Yeah, that's true. Matt Brown, I'll go with, again, like same reason as Darren Elkins. You want to see him win. That's...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so Matt Brown versus Miguel Baeza. Are we still live here?
Yeah, it's still going.
Okay.
I don't know how much more longer it will be.
It's running out of the juice.
I don't know. We've been going for an hour.
Yeah.
A half almost. An hour and 20 minutes almost.
No, time flies.
Yeah, it's true. It's weird, hey? Edit that out, please, manservant.
Should we do another one of these cues?
No. That's against my sweater like a green screen.
So yeah, Matt Brown versus Miguel Baeza at welterweight. I went Matt Brown for this one too. Unfortunately, I didn't have time to do notes on this one, but I haven't seen... The only Baeza fight I've seen is him versus Hector Aldana.
Mm-hmm. Who I really like. He's
Aldana?
He's an Ultimate Fighter, Latin America. I don't know if he won it or not, but then he was out for a year or two.
Yeah.
But that guy's built like Frankenstein, and I like him for whatever. Again, I don't know why.
No, I liked his fights too, but I saw him versus... what's his name? Leonardo Starpoli. You know that guy?
No, it sounds Italian as fuck though.
Yeah. I think he's...
Is he
Argentine?
Italian?
I think Argentinian, I want to say.
Oh.
I might be completely wrong. But yeah, I saw him in that fight, and I remember like the beating that he took in that. It was just like 3 rounds of him getting smashed in the face.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of left a bad impression in that sense. But no, I remember him looking pretty good. I just think he faced some pretty stiff competition.
Yeah, that's always tough.
Yeah, so I think, for this one I picked Matt Brown second round KO. I feel like I might regret that because I haven't seen too much of Baeza. Laureano Starpoli.
Familiar enough. I don't remember his fighting.
Yeah.
Like I remember the name and that he's
Argentina.
in there.
I was right about that at least.
I remember that he's in there, but I don't remember his fights well enough to base a pick off it. I need to watch a little closer.
Yeah, he's only had a couple in UFC. Not big names.
Okay, do you want to get to the real deal main card?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't have too much to say on this. I'm rooting for Matt Brown. I'll always root for Matt Brown.
Yeah, you always want to see him get a nice,
Yeah,
nice
I mean he's looked good in his last 2. Granted, there was a retirement in between, but he smashed Diego Sanchez so hard that it cut the broadcast, and then he smashed Ben Saunders pretty efficiently. So, and
I don't know if it's just recently or last year or 2 years, but he's got his own gym and everything now. Hey.
Oh really? I do remember hearing about that.
So
I think I guess his plan was to retire and do that, but then he probably just got bored and was like, "Yeah, I miss fighting."
We miss fighting, and now, rather than doing everything in group class and stuff as he was in ATT, which is one of the best camps.
Yeah.
But at the same time, now you're the guy, right? And like he comes from the old school where GSP and these guys built camps around them.
Yeah.
So now he's doing that, and maybe he's like, shit, if I just had done this and brought in not the best coaches for the team, but the best coach for me, maybe X, Y, Z, right?
Yeah.
So
I mean,
hopefully
there's a lot
he
of-
looks good and he can retire and he gets a little bit of bonus money because maybe he can't run his gym right now, right?
Yeah, I mean, this is probably a
So
tough time for anyone with a gym. So
even if he gets, give him a bonus. Let's get Matt Brown a KO of the night, and then we'll give the performance of the nights on the main card.
yeah,
Again,
it's always scary seeing an older guy going against
a young gun.
a young guy, undefeated too. I
Yeah, Matt
believe.
Brown doesn't care though.
Yeah, no, I
That's
know he
why it's
doesn't
fun,
care.
right?
And that's, I mean, what I've noticed from the last two is clearly he kept his knockout power, and like what I love about him is he always has that killer instinct. Like he knows when to just dive in.
Yeah.
And I mean, most of the time he's right.
Yeah, he's a gangster.
He is a gangster. I'll give him that. So next up, Song Yadong versus Brandon Vera.
So that was the one that Uriah was the alternate for, right? But is that one that's confirmed? That's on these guys?
Yeah, no, it's
Okay.
it's on because Faber just said that he was.
He weighed in at 153 or something, though. Hey.
Yeah, and
Well, that's probably because Song was there.
that's why I got so confused because I thought this was 135, but it's 145.
Yeah, but again, that's short notice. Isn't
Yeah.
Vera's 145?
No, he's
35?
135.
Oh yeah, he looks huge as 135. That's what it is.
Yeah, he looks huge at that, and like he looks pretty filled out at this. I think it's obviously just he didn't cut any weight, so he looks really good because of that. But he looked. I was worried once I figured out that it was featherweight. I thought that there would be a bit of a size difference, but not really.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's good about guys who are already big for whatever weight class if they move up. So, no, I'm feeling Vera for this one. I picked I think a second round knockout for this one too.
That's two guys.
But I mean, it could very easily be a decision or a submission as well. That's what's tough about guys like him that are more well-rounded is it's like, what am I gonna pick, knockout or submission?
They're both guys that I normally would, regardless of who they're fighting, pick.
Yeah.
So it's
No,
tough.
it's
but
it was
Vera,
tough, but I love Vera and I don't want him to lose his streak either. So
I remember watching Song Yadong and be like, "Fuck, this guy can punch, man. He's a powerful, powerful guy."
yeah,
But I feel like his reach isn't huge, so Marlon probably has an advantage there.
yeah.
So-
If it's technical striking, I think Vera's gonna
Yeah, power
pick him apart.
power shots. We gotta be worried if he gets a cracks Vera, right?
Yeah.
But I think Song Yadong was one of he did some military service as well
Oh, I mean, I
As
think
a-
a lot of the people.
as a native Korean. And he looks like a motherfucker.
Oh no, he's Chinese. China Power.
Song Yadong?
Yeah.
Is he? Can we get a confirmation on that, Andrew?
I'm
Andrew's
99.9% sure.
Andrew's our producer off screen. He's gonna just send Jordan
God bless you, Andrew.
a chat.
I'm just
to
opening
confirm
my AOL account.
Yeah, AOL MSN Messenger service. I think
Tianjin, China.
Taijin.
Kung Fu Monkey.
Okay, then maybe I'm thinking of the same guy. Maybe I'm thinking of a Korean guy with a
Well,
similar
he was the one
name.
that he knocked out Alejandro Perez in the first round.
I
That was
remember.
on the Jones Santos card.
I remember.
I remember him getting that knockout. That was pretty crazy.
Other names: Song Yadong. Other names: the Kung Fu Monkey and James Hadfield.
What?
That's listed under his.
Is that also what he goes by, or?
Yeah, that's weird.
Hmm.
Okay, so who does he got? Cody Stamen.
Yeah, his last one was Cody Stamen, which is a draw, which I remember seeing that one, and I almost, like, I had that thought in my head. I was like, that's one I could maybe see going to a draw. And, like, anytime that one of those happens, I punch myself because, like, you know what the odds are usually on draws?
Yeah.
Like, what the payouts are.
So he
I think that was the one that had two draws, wasn't it?
might have.
Yeah. Marina Rodriguez and Cynthia Calvillo. 2 draws on one card. 2 majority draws.
You know what, man? He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fights.
Song Yudong?
And 3 bonuses.
Yeah.
He is the guy I remember.
But he's also 22, like huge prospect, obviously.
Yeah. This is the guy I was thinking of. Yeah, Team Alpha Male. Yeah, which is super. That's why Uriah, because he was there to corner him. Okay, I gotcha. Yeah, I'll take Marlon Vera, but I'm a little worried.
No, I'm worried too. Well, I was 100%. I was like, I'm picking Vera. I'm never not going to pick Vera.
Yeah, but then you look into it a little more and you're like, oh.
Well, I didn't. Like tough. I said, I didn't know it was at featherweight. That didn't register for me at first.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why, but yeah, no, that made me a little worried. But I don't know. I still got to go with Vera for it. He's definitely shown that he's a gangster in some fights too. So.
And Vera only left the Ultimate Fighter house because of like staff or something.
Oh, he had staff.
And then Guido Canetti went on,
did he have an issue with the staff at the Ultimate Fighter?
He first round submission over Brian Kelleher.
Yeah.
John Lineker loss. So.
Yeah, I mean those 2 losses are. Douglas Silva, Dan Jaraj. They're both just short, stout, tank Brazilian men.
So the original
fight, like obviously the tall, lanky Ecuadorian man is going to have a bit of trouble against knocking out a tank like that.
Yeah. Man. But you know what? His fight before this got canceled was supposed to be Jimmy Rivera, so he was preparing for that.
Yeah.
And then he had Eddie Wineland, which you're not as concerned with the knockout power, but that's probably just to take a fight in a name, right? That's an old school gangster.
Well, he's been screwed over a couple times.
Yeah.
Like, just before all this happened too. Like.
Well, that's the thing is Rivera pulled out like 2 weeks before the fight, and then they had to cancel him from the card.
Yeah. Yeah, he's had some bad luck. But
and then
Andre Ewell, I think, was one that was actually. I don't think that was short notice, but the no Helen Hernandez, that was the short notice one, and that was like I think for that one because I was on Jones versus Santos card.
Mm-hmm. And see,
I think he was supposed to. That was the one where he was supposed to get a big name. That was supposed to be his.
That was supposed to be against Bonitis himself, Bonitis Austrian.
Yeah.
That's what that was. The Bone Austrian.
Sugar Sean O'Malley.
Yeah.
I was hyped for that one because I was like, this is going to be the one that's going to stop his hype train.
Sugar Sean's been all up in Joanna's comments lately.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
In what way?
He just keeps saying hi.
You just hi?
Yeah, just trying to get an answer from her.
Oh, what do you think of this? This local
take a quick commercial.
Our sponsor, Kilter Brewing.
Kilter Brew, their new cool beans partnership with Dogwood Coffee.
Local coffee company. Very good.
Cold brew coffee stout. Normally not a fan of cold brew because I feel like it's weird. Yeah. I don't know why. That's just how I feel.
I've only had a couple, and I mean it's coffee, but I don't really see the hype behind it.
And despite this being vegan friendly, I think it is okay. Not a vegan yet. I'm sure after I say that, the comments section will let me know why I should be a vegan.
No, actually, you're a vegan, and I'm going to tell you why.
But I do think it's pretty good.
Yeah.
I do.
I quite enjoyed it myself. I've enjoyed everything from this brewery, so.
Okay.
But we're not here to talk specifically.
No, now we're going to go to the last 5 fights. The big puppy dogs.
The big boys? Okay, so first up we got Eric Anders versus Christoph Jotko. I know how to do that one, but
yeah.
That's
and now
it's got a couple of Z's in it.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Eric Anders is your boy?
He is my boy, in fact.
Okay, perfect.
And that's why I picked him for this one. Because he told me. He was like, I'm your boy, you gotta pick me.
Yeah, I gotta pick him too. He's got 3 fights against names, and they're all losses. Talis Lightus in 2016, sure, but then he didn't fight for a long time. So 2016 was his last big name win.
Yeah.
Marc-Andre Barrios, love him, he's Canadian and all that, but he's got 3 losses in a row and probably got.
Well, he's a guy that didn't really deal well with good wrestlers, and Jocko isn't a great wrestler, but he was good enough to just control him for 3 rounds and grind out a decision, which I totally called.
He's got a 2012 decision win over
That was actually on
Demir
our last.
Hadzovic.
That was on our last one, I think. Is that 240?
240 Marc-Andre Barrios.
Yeah.
And
So that was one I made a live prediction on and I got it.
Yeah, there you go. Go back and watch that. It doesn't exist for you, but maybe I actually have the tape, so maybe it'll come up. Maybe not.
We'll bring up the tape next time, and
It's
I'll
probably too deep.
I'll rub it in your face that I was correct on that one.
It's probably too deep in the card, and we lost the video already. But if not, you might see it next week or never.
I mean, you never know.
Set your watch to never. So your boy and Jotko, I think you have to go with Anders.
Yeah, for sure. I picked first round knockout.
Yeah.
I think he's kind of had a couple grindy decision fights lately. I feel like he's going to try and come out strong and prove point.
At middleweight.
At middleweight.
Is that where he's been fighting? Return to middle. Oh, yeah, so he went down. Elias.
Yeah.
Good fight. Khalil, that's the one that stands out in my head. But a win at middleweight against Mearshart. It's his last fight.
Yeah.
Split decision, so...
So, I mean, that shows you too that he can deal with
Look
good
at his
grapplers.
losses. Look at his losses, though.
Yeah.
Lyoto, Machida, Thiago Santos.
He didn't lose that fight.
Decision split. Oh, yeah, that was in Brazil.
That was a
That was
Brazilian
a 5-rounder
special.
in Brazil. Machida's fucking exit suite.
Yeah.
That's true. So, wins. Well, regardless of that, so Machida split decision, Elias split decision in Canada.
Yeah.
I love Elias. He's my dog. Shout out. But that's a Canadian in Toronto.
Yeah.
That's his hometown.
I mean, I'm not gonna downplay what you just said, but
Thiago Santos, that was him moving up to light heavyweight.
Oh, yeah.
And then Khalil Roundtree, that was when Khalil Roundtree started looking like a real Muay Thai gangster. So
yeah. Oh, the Santos fight was crazy. That was the one where it got stopped in between rounds because he was too exhausted.
there's some, yeah. What do they have it officially?
He got
as?
up and he tried to walk back. It's a TKO elbows, 3rd round, 5 minutes. So it's...
This says referee stoppage on Wikipedia, but yeah, third round, 5 minutes. Yeah.
Travis Brown, I think.
The chicken wing.
Yeah, he was hitting him with the wing, and he got real tired after he took a couple of those wins.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, are you too hurt to can do? No, I'm just too exhausted from
Well, that was
eating all
the thing
those
is,
punches.
it was so hard to tell at the time if he was like really rocked or if he was just that tired. But apparently he was just really tired. He did look
tired and defeated.
Yeah, and I mean, I think anyone going 3 rounds with Santos would be a little tired.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. But yeah, I'll definitely Anders. I think he's got power. Whether that's he stays away and does enough to win, or he knocks him out, which I would rather see.
He showed that in the one before he knocked out. I mean, it wasn't great competition. I think that guy's been knocked out a couple times, but he clearly has power, and I think he's gonna try and this is gonna be his time to come out and show that. I think.
Yeah, but what's his name? Jocko lost 2 of his. He got 2 decision wins. Split and whatever, but then he lost Brad Tavares.
Brad Tavares knocked him out, which is one of the reasons why I think this could end quickly.
Yeah, that's okay.
And Uriah Hall, but I mean...
Okay, so we give Matt Brown and we give Eric Anders our bonuses so far. What?
Our bonuses?
Yeah, I'm handing out bonuses checks already, but based on what I want to see.
All right.
You want to talk about Iggy Pop and Barboza?
Barzola?
Yeah, Enrique Barzola and Iggy Pop.
Yeah, so after this we got Dan Ige versus Edson Barboza at lightweight. Or, no, I put down lightweight, I'm an idiot. That's featherweight. So, obviously this is Barboza's first fight at 145. Mm-hmm. He made weight. I don't know if he's going to make it to the fight.
I don't know.
He's going to make it, but he looked very hungry.
Yeah, Ariel just put some eyes when he posted it. There's some eyes looking up real big.
Yeah,
Like, oh, what does that mean?
he looked pretty small. So, but I mean, when I saw, like, obviously he's still gonna have his striking ability.
And it's
He
relatively
should still maintain a bit of power, but I think his cardio is going to be really bad in this fight. I think he's got one good round in him, and then anything after that is going to be not too great.
So he's been in the UFC for 10 years.
Yep.
Almost 10 in November 2010. His loss is Jamie Varner, when Jamie Varner was around in Big Deal 2012. Then Cerrone, Michael Johnson, Tony Ferguson, Khabib, Kevin Lee, Gaethje, Felder.
Yeah, no, murderers for real for sure.
Yeah, and then the wins over Pettis, Melendez, win over Felder, Bobby Green, Evan Dunham, Danny Castillo, fight of the night, who is Alpha Male's wrestling coach, or was.
Yeah.
And then the Dan Hooker fight, which is like, I don't care
my
who
God.
you put him in there with. It's like,
I just watched clips of that recently, and I forgot how bad that was.
oh man, like you can't count him out against everyone, right? So, Joe Rogan calls him the best kicker in MMA. One of two fighters to finish bouts via leg kicks.
Oh, for sure. Like his technique for those kicks is incredible. There's like zero tell. It's just whoop.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, there's a leg in your face.
Exceptionally quick.
Yeah.
They call him. But Danny Ige has fought some gangsters too.
Oh, he has.
I feel like he's going to be undersized here. No, I'm thinking of someone else.
What do you mean undersized? Like
No. I was thinking of someone else who was like a lighter weight.
Oh, okay.
Like a 125 or something. But
no, he's
I was thinking of someone.
He's a real 145.
I was thinking of someone who had fought Ray Borg, and he hasn't fought Ray Borg, so it's not who I'm thinking of. That's fine.
Okay.
But
no, I picked Ige for this. I think he's going to be able to do the game plan for Barboza, which everyone knows it by now, which is take him down and smash him. And Danny Gay definitely knows how to do that, especially with who he's training with. Are we dying out here?
yeah, so the card max stuff.
Okay.
Stuff. That's okay. I'm recording the audio too.
Okay. Is this on?
Yeah.
Is this the microphone?
I have this going.
This one?
Yeah. I put a bug in here.
So yeah, I mean, my thoughts are, is Barboza going to have the power to knock out Ige, which I don't think so. Do you think he's going to be quicker at featherweight?
I don't know. I have no idea.
I mean,
how much quicker
of course,
can he be?
You think he's lighter, he's going to be quicker, but also like...
He might be quicker than he was, but now his competition's also quicker. I don't know. I don't know how that shakes out.
It's really hard. It was a tough pick, honestly, but I feel like it's going to look a lot like any other fight that Barboza has had against a good grappler. I think Ige is going to just take him down and smash him. I don't know if he's going to finish him with the strikes. I feel like he's not going to. I think he's going to switch it up to a submission. And I think I picked third round, actually. So I'm giving Barboza credit that he should be able to make it that far, but I don't know. I definitely feel like Dan has this one in the bag. And I'm a big Dan Ige fan.
You're getting what now?
And then after this, we got Claudia Gadelha versus Angela Hill at strawweight. For this one, I picked Claudia. Angela has obviously shown that, good grapplers she doesn't fare too well against. I mean, she's also... Hill has been on a tear, and I feel like she has a better chance now at this point to get a win over a good grappler, but I think Claudia's too good.
Claudia's had a tough go lately, but also she's been at the training center the whole time and stuff like that. So I always like Claudia. I like to pick her, but Angela Hill's, for as many hard fights as she had and all that, she's kind of still climbing, right?
No, definitely.
This is a big fight. This is a sleeper. Like, there's only 2 girl fights of the night. this is going to be a better fight than people think. Angela Hill, I don't know where she's at right now, but she's versatile striker and stuff like that. Can she do some of the push kicks and the stuff like that and the jabs that Joanna used against Claudia, right? And is Claudia's taken some crazy... She's had a lot of really hard fights.
Yeah.
And she's been in there for a long time. So, well, not like huge long, but like, you know, a good...
I mean, it doesn't look like she's, you know, like some of those fighters you have to consider like the, like where they're at mentally, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like
2014 she's been in.
She doesn't look like she lost any confidence in those losses or anything. Like she still looks like she's in a good place mentally. And, I mean, clearly she's still got really good wrestling. So
great, and she's got.
I think it's mostly going to be how good Hill looks on the ground, because I feel like it's going to go to the ground.
Yeah.
I feel like it's not going to be Claudia holding her down. I think there's going to be a lot more of Hill slipping out. There's going to be some scrambles. I think it's actually going to be a pretty interesting grappling exchange.
Claudia's a high level black belt, but in the gi, and she hasn't been posting a lot of training of that lately, but at the same time, that might be on purpose. Because before, like after, she used to do a ton of grappling and then started posting all this strength training stuff when she was going into like the, at least her last couple. I want to say the Jessica Andrade, but maybe not. That seems like it was too old. That's 2017. So
was that a decision?
Yeah, that was in Japan. But like, I don't know. So maybe it was.
When's the last time UFC's been to Japan?
Probably that one, 2017.
Yeah, I feel like it's been a while.
Satayama Super Arena, the old Pride one. But I feel like she hasn't been posting a lot of specific stuff, which means whatever she's doing, she doesn't want to telegraph. So if she's doing the grappling, I think that's a smart way to go about it.
Yeah.
Against Angela Hill. But Angela Hill might have the push kicks and that.
Yeah.
Well, she's not as big, right? Luma Luka Boom.
I mean, she doesn't have as much muscle, that's for sure. What are you leaning towards for this one?
I don't know, an armbar. I think Claudia.
Yeah?
I don't know. I'll take Claudia in a decision. I think maybe she can take her down repeatedly, and the size will be similar. But I think maybe she can control her enough that she the opportunity to.
Yeah, I think that's the safe bet is Claudia by decision, and that's what I went with. But I was leaning towards maybe Hill. I feel like maybe she could slip something in there, like she might be able to get a submission off her back or something. But who knows? But yeah, I'm gonna stick with that for Claudia. And then on to the main event. We have Alistair Overeem versus Walt Harris at heavyweight. And I think this was originally booked, and then obviously everyone knows what happened with Walt Harris, his stepdaughter, and very unfortunate. So I feel like they just put this off until he was ready, kind of thing, which is awesome of the UFC and awesome of Overeem to not trying to seek out another fight.
Yeah. So yeah, his last 4, that Daniel Spitz is that super tall weird guy. Second round TKO. Arlovsky decision win overturned because he tested positive. And then Spivak and Olenek first round fucking slobberfests.
I thought that was weird how the Arlovsky fight, that's when he popped, and you would think that if this was like he was legitimately using performance enhancing, you'd think he would do very well on that fight, but he ended up getting I think it was a split decision too against Arlovsky.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that's something to consider for this fight too. Like Arlovsky obviously being a skilled veteran.
He's got the loss against Fabricio, first round submission.
Yeah.
and then Orlovsky, Jared Rosholt loss. So it's kind of like Nikita Krylov loss. So he beats Chase Sherman, Cyril Asker. Olenek is the one where I'm like, fuck, because I think he's really good, right? Obviously. But 13
Well, like,
wins all by knockout.
Yeah.
So if it goes to a win for Harris, we know how that goes. This is Overeem's first fight back from Rosenstreich.
Yep.
I can't imagine it's going to bother him because he doesn't give a but also, both of their last wins are Olenek.
Yeah.
So I don't need them to.
I mean, it's I love Overeem, but it's clearly he has some problems with his chin at this point. And against someone like Walt Harris, who just knocked out 2 people in 62 seconds combined, so, like, it's hard not to think, what's going to happen. So,
which round?
I'm going to go first. I think Harris is going to come out real strong.
And straight to the post-fight press conference.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have that much else to say about this. Like, I think if it goes past the first round, I think Reem probably has it in the bag.
Mm-hmm.
Some people were saying too, like they think maybe Reem's gonna submit him later on. I've seen a couple people say that, and
he could. He moves quick. Like he's fought Bob Sapp. He's fought all these crazy guys, right? So like
skilled grappler Bob Sapp.
No, but I mean like dangerous. Like it's not the same, but at the same time, like who's Curtis Blades lost, Francis Ngannou lost, Stipe lost. But like he's like a bigger Mark Hunt. He beat Mark Hunt.
Yeah.
Stefan Struve, Roy Nelson lost to Ben Rothwell, Travis Brown, Antonio Silva. All those guys got power, right? Karatanov lost, Shogun Hua, Ricardo Arona, Antonio Rogerio, Verdum, Shogun.
Well, here's something I want to bring up too. And like, of course, I'm not trying to make any specific allegations about any fighters, but what are your thoughts on testing that's been happening during this time?
Can tell that it hasn't been
great.
Much of it, yeah.
So you think that there's probably a couple people who maybe have had previous allegations against them could come in looking a little extra.
I don't know. They might only be doing piss tests too.
Yeah.
Like I would be.
That was my first thought when they started putting out stuff like saying like, oh yeah, we're still testing. It's like.
I feel like they're doing like piss samples because if I had like, dude, you're not saying some random dude I don't know where to come into my quarantine and take my blood.
Yeah.
And just open a wound in my body. No.
And it's gonna poke a little hole in your neck.
Yeah.
And then spit some droplets out onto you.
Yeah, so I don't know anything, I don't hear anything, but I'm just gonna say speculation.
That's something I'm considering for this fight specifically. Is, and one thing I noticed too is at the face-off, Overeem didn't take his shirt off even.
No, he doesn't care.
Yeah. Is that to hide a pasty, no steroid body, or is it
they both pop for
to
like
hide
the
all the bulk?
They've popped for the same thing.
Well, I'm sure Reem's probably popped for a couple different things.
They probably just book this one, and they're like, dude, go ahead.
Yeah.
Just go fucking right ahead, dude. He's gonna do it too. So
yeah.
And just let them both do it. Maybe that's why Walt Harris did it. They're like, just fucking get jacked up.
If we had Overeem come into this fight, it'd be a completely different story.
Yeah, but how old is he?
39. He's still good.
He's got 500.
He's only been knocked out 14 times.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna stick with that.
He's a blue belt under 3 different people. Okay, so I'm not gonna give him a submission. I'm gonna give Walt Harris a knockout in that first round.
He has 17 submissions on his record, but I mean, a lot of those are probably like Bob Sapp fights.
A lot of those are pride fights when people didn't know if you could go to the ground or not.
Yeah, is this allowed? Oh, he's got my arm. Oh, I'm dead.
His last one is in Dream. So he was Overeem, all this in Dream. Yeah. Submission.
He had
over
the strength to
Marquette.
rip
Gary
people's arms.
Goodridge. No.
He has a Peruvian necktie submission.
Yeah, come on. Against who? Michael Knapp, right? That guy made my fucking t-shirt last week. No, Overeem first round knockout.
Yeah.
I mean Harris first round knockout. Overeem's getting knocked out.
I mean, you never know. You might be right.
Do a quick little exit if you want. I gotta go to the bathroom.
All right. Well, he's got to go to the bathroom, so I mean,
just run through your picks one more time. Maybe that's a good idea. Recap.
Sure, I'll do a quick recap while he re-empties his bladder. So let's see here. Oh, this is at the top. So first fight, Dontel Mays versus Rodrigo Nascimento. I picked Nascimento second round submission. Courtney Casey versus Mara Romero Varela. I picked Casey by decision. Nate Landwehr versus Darren Elkins. Darren Elkins decision. Giga Chikadze versus Erwin Rivera. I picked Chikadze second round knockout. Anthony Hernandez, Kevin Holland. I picked Hernandez second round submission. Matt Brown versus Miguel Baeza. I picked Brown by second round KO. Song Dong versus Marlon Vera. I picked Vera second round KO as well. Eric Anders versus Christoph Jocko. I picked Anders by first round knockout. Edson Barboza versus Dan Ige. I picked Ige third round submission. Claudia Gadelia versus Angela Hill. I picked Gadelia by decision. And finally, Alistair Overeem versus Walt Harris. I picked Harris by first round KO, and of course Dan picked Overeem by first round KO, which is a brave decision for him. Yeah, I'm not sure what else to say. It should be a good night of fights. I'm looking forward to it. You can probably expect our next podcast probably for UFC 260, which might be on Fight Island. At least I assume. I don't even know what's happening with 250. I'm going to check to see if that's been announced yet. Or maybe that's going to be the one that's on Fight Island. I assume that they would only do probably a fight night on there to test things out. It doesn't make sense to try and do a pay-per-view there. I mean, what are they even going to do for the broadcast? That's going to be hard to set up. But anyways, if you're listening, which I doubt you are, thank you for listening. And we will see you in 10 pay-per-views.
Okay, we're out. We are out.
No, Nunes versus Felicia Spencer. Yeah, I still don't have a location for this one. But this is the one that was supposed to be in Brazil, but I can't see them doing a card there for a little while.
Yeah, I'm probably going to go somewhere else with that one.
Yeah. You think they're going to do it at MSG anytime soon?
No, I don't.
They're going to kick everyone off of that giant boat that they have. Did you see the boat that they brought to New York to deal with the pandemic?